The motel's neon sign flickered weakly against the twilight sky as I pulled into the lot. My wife, Clara, had texted me she'd be at her art gallery late, finishing a private exhibit setup. But a slip from one of her assistants about her leaving early set my nerves on edge. We'd been married 7 years. Our life was a mix of love and quiet strain. Her recent secrecy, guarded phone, and vague plans gnawed at me. I tracked her location to a small, rundown motel on the outskirts of the city. My heart hammered as I pushed open the door to room 7. I wasn't prepared for what I would find. Clara stood in the dim room, her eyes wide, blouse half-buttoned. "Alex, don't look," she begged, her voice trembling, stepping in front of the bathroom. The air was thick with perfume and tension. A man's jacket slouched over a chair, the bed unmade. My stomach churned, but I didn't shout. I stepped forward, gaze locked on hers, and pushed past her toward the bathroom. Inside, a man in his mid-30s, familiar from gallery events, froze. Shirtless, his face pale. "It's not what you think," Clara stammered behind me. But the scene spoke louder than words. I recognized him. Ethan, one of her assistants, always too close at openings. My chest tightened, not with rage, but with a hollow ache. I had trusted her, loved her through late nights and growing distance. And this was where it led. I turned to Clara, her sobs filling the room. "Why?" I asked, voice low and steady. She collapsed onto the bed, hands over her face. "I felt alone," she whispered. "You were always at work." "And Ethan," I added, letting the weight of her betrayal settle. Her excuse felt like a slap, blaming me for her choice. I thought of our marriage, our mornings with coffee, our plans for trips. Now those memories were tainted. I didn't yell. I reached into my pocket, pulled out my wedding ring, and set it on the dresser, the clink echoing in the silence. "You made your choice," I said, eyes locked on hers. Clara's sobs grew louder, her hands reaching for me. But I stepped back. "Alex, please. I love you," she cried. Her words felt empty, drowned by the truth of the room. I walked out, the motel door slamming behind me, her pleas fading into the night. The streets blurred as I drove to a friend's apartment. Clara's texts flooded my phone. Apologies, promises, claims it was a mistake. I didn't respond. I thought of the signs I'd ignored. Late nights, the locked phone, the excuses. My ring on the dresser wasn't drama. It was a line drawn, a refusal to be a fallback. The image of her with Ethan, her desperate plea not to look, burned in my mind. Yet I felt a strange clarity. The next day, I met with a lawyer, not to file for divorce yet, but to understand my options. Clara showed up at my friend's apartment, face haggard, begging to talk. "It's one time," she said, tears falling. I looked at her and said, "You begged me not to look because you knew what I'd see." She flinched. My calm hit harder than anger. Her betrayal wasn't just the act. It was the secrecy, the choice to step outside our vows. We tried counseling, but sessions were raw. Her guilt clashed with my hurt. She admitted she'd felt neglected, chasing attention to fill a void. I confessed my own fault, long hours at work, failing to see her drift, but her choice was hers alone. My leaving the ring stunned her, forced her to face the cost of her actions. She cut contact with Ethan, quit her job at the gallery, but trust was fragile and hard to grasp. Months later, we were separated, living apart. Clara tried letters, small gestures, therapy visits, but I wasn't ready to forgive. The motel room, her pleas, the truth I'd seen, it had changed me. I wasn't the man who'd beg her to stay. I was the man who walked away, valuing myself over betrayal. One evening, she left a voicemail. "I'll wait for you, Alex." I listened, the pain still sharp but softening. That night in the motel had broken something. But my response, calm, final, had given me strength. Her plea not to look had been her fear of facing herself. I had looked, and it set me free. We remained apart, the future uncertain. But I knew my worth now. Her betrayal had torn us apart, but walking away, leaving that ring, had given me a chance to start over. I finally understood. Love isn't just about staying. It's about respecting yourself and recognizing when someone doesn't value you. In the weeks that followed, I focused on rebuilding. Mornings became my own again, quiet coffee on the balcony, journaling, and small routines that grounded me. Friends checked in, lending support without judgment. Each day, I felt the weight of betrayal lift a little more, replaced by clarity. I realized that life had given me a choice: dwell in pain or reclaim my dignity. I chose the latter. Clara's absence became a symbol, not of failure, but of survival. I visited new cafes, went for evening walks in the city, and rediscovered hobbies I'd abandoned. Even the smell of lavender soap in passing no longer twisted my gut. I had learned that forgiveness doesn't always mean reunion. Sometimes, it means releasing someone from your life so you can breathe again. That motel room, her pleas, the cold truth I faced, it remained etched in my memory. But it was no longer a cage. It was a turning point. I had faced betrayal, heartbreak, and deception. I had looked and I had survived. And in that survival, I found strength, clarity, and the quiet power of walking away when the person you love doesn't see your worth. If you've ever been betrayed or faced heartbreak, you're not alone. Subscribe to Cheating Secrets for real stories of love, betrayal, and resilience. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss a story that could change the way you see relationships.